My dear friends, in the previous video, we introduced an analytical approach to the book of Revelation. Let me present this method in a simplified form before we apply it to an example. The basic model for analyzing complex information is the intelligence cycle. Here, each new symbol is compared with crystal clear baseline data, allowing us to interpret it consistently rather than arbitrarily, using the text's own definitions. The text itself explains the symbols, not us. Now let us apply this method to one example, the falling stars. This symbol holds a particular meaning in many people's minds, that of a cosmic catastrophe. But is this really what John is trying to convey? Let us begin with the key question. What should we expect when stars fall from the sky in Revelation? This directs the analysis to identify what the stars represent and what their fall signifies within the prophetic sequence. Now let us continue to the next step. Collection. Our first passage of interest is Revelation 6, verse 13. And the stars in the sky fell to the earth, as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. But how should we understand it? In processing, we will compare this symbol with the already established baseline data. But what is the baseline data in this context? Let us look at Revelation chapter 1, my friends. In verse 16, Christ mysteriously appears to John, holding 7 stars in his right hand. And right afterwards, in verse 20, he provides the explanation to this mystery. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches. My friends, what better baseline could there be than Christ's own words? It is therefore safe, if not obligatory, to assume that these stars symbolize leaders, messengers, or spiritual authorities. So, the book itself provides this meaning. Additionally, no alternative definition for the stars appears in later chapters. With this definition established, the analysis now becomes straightforward. The stars in Revelation 6 verse 13 represent messengers, spiritual leaders. It is therefore logical to conclude that their fall implies moral collapse, disgrace, or divine judgment. In biblical language, such a fall may recall the primordial fall described in Genesis. The fig tree imagery conveys sudden, violent collapse. The conclusion now becomes clear. The imagery of the falling stars in Revelation 6 verse 13 depicts a symbolic fall of church-affiliated leadership. This interpretation emerges from consistent internal usage of symbols and the structured application of an analytical method. However, we are not done yet. The book of Revelation mentions other falling stars as well. One is the mysterious star of the 3rd trumpet, called wormwood, which falls on the rivers and the springs of water, turning them bitter, so that many people die from the poisoned waters. Another is the star of the 5th trumpet, which opens the shaft of the abyss and unleashes the great plague of the locusts. But in these cases, apart from the falling stars, most of the symbols are not explicitly explained and remain undefined. Nor have we yet established the prophetic geography of the text, which would help us understand what symbols such as the rivers and the abyss might represent. So, there is still much work to be done before we can reach a reliable conclusion about the nature of these plagues. But things are now clearer. These stars are not meteorites, but symbolic figures connected with religious leadership. Interpreting them otherwise would be arbitrary. My friends, thank you for your attention. In the next video, we will begin constructing the symbolic geography of the text, which will become a valuable key to our understanding. Until then, I wish you health, peace, and every blessing.